Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, we are going to discuss about the unit 3, that is a mining data stream. Inside the mining data stream, let me open the syllabus. Yes, so if you can see the inside the third unit, you will find out that it is contents of the third unit is introduction to stream concept, stream data model, architecture of stream data model, stream computing, how do you perform the streaming, how do we compute the required size of data, sampling data in a stream. So there are various kinds of a stream. So how can we take the sample? Because it's not possible that you will take the whole stream as a sample data, because if you're talking about a streaming data, it can be a infinite length data. So there will be no ending of the streaming. Then you'll go for the filtering the string. So sometimes you're required to find out some specific content from the string. Those specific content has certain properties, so we'll apply some filtering mechanism to filter out the filtering string. Then we'll discuss about the counting the distinct element in the stream, estimating moments, counting oneness in a window, decaying window, real-time analytics platform application. So RTAP is real-time application which will deal with the streaming. So we can see how this works and what are the applications of RATP platform in our real time. Then we discuss about some case studies, real-time sentiment analysis, and stock market prediction. So if we'll try to do some code for the real-time sentiment analysis and stock market prediction by taking the real-time example. So let us start from the first topic. What is data stream? So before we start discussing about the data stream, I think all of you are familiar with the YouTube and the Facebook and the Twitter, and as well as I think you are also familiar with the video conferencing, audio conferencing as well. So basically, these all types of platform is generating the streaming data. It means if you are a client and you are accessing these applications, so you are getting data in a continuous stream. So there is a no way you can say that there is a small amount of data and you are accessing those data. In data stream, you are accessing a continuous stream of data. So that is no ending of data. So what is happening here? Your source of the information is continuously generating the information. When we talk about the streaming application, so sometimes it is also possible that your streaming application will generating the data from different sources. For example, your gaming. When you are playing an online game, any in an intranet or on the internet, then you will find out that there are multiple players are playing on a different distributed system. So what is happening? Every player is generating some kind of data, and these data can be in a different format. So that can be a integer, that can be images, videos, strings, and so on. And these data can be collected at a one place, and they are then broadcasted to every users. So in a real time, you can see what is doing by the different players. So if one player is playing their role, it can be simultaneously viewed by the every player which is connected to that system. So basically, streaming data is a data that is continuously generated by different sources. So when we are talking about the streaming data, it is continuously generated. So the problem arises that when you are finding any type of application, so not only your videos transmission from YouTube, your text transmission from Twitter, your images transmission from Instagram. Apart from that, if you talk about some real-time applications, for example, sensor networks, you can find out the sensor network is operated everywhere. For example, for weather forecasting, sensor network is operated in different geographical region. Uh, Generally, nowadays we are talking about the automatic cars. So you can find out that these cars are driverless cars. So they are full of sensors, and these sensors are continuously generating the data. So when we are trying to make a car driving without a driver or without a human intervention, then you find out that continuous stream of data is being monitored, analyzed, and certain decisions would be made on those data. So streaming data concept comes when you are dealing with a continuously generating data being generated from the source. Such data should be processed incrementally using stream processing technique without having access to all of the data. So when we are talking about the driverless car, then you'll find out that you can't take a decision to move the car when you are having all the data. So it's not possible that you will have all the data required from the starting position to the ending position. Because if you'll talk about the context of the car movement, you can find out that it is changing by the situation. So when you are driving your car, you will find out that after every step you have taken a decision. After that decision, you have to analyze the environment. What is the environment at that particular time, and how this environment is going to affect the movement of the car. And based on that, you will take certain decisions. So there are some stream processing techniques which will deal with the certain part of the stream to process those information for some analysis and so on. And these processing techniques must be able to handle the part of the data. So they should be designed such that they are and handling the continuous amount of data without being worrying about the what is the upcoming input from the different data set. So concept drift may happen in data, which means that the properties of stream may change over time. So we can property of stream means the kinds of data which is inside the stream. So suppose if we are moving a automatic car, so you can find out that these car are certain another non-human intervention system can be uh, feel the different types of data in a different time phase. So whatever the application you are using for the stream processing, that stream processing application must able to handle this certain type of situation. So it is also possible that whatever the data type you are dealing with the stream, that can be changed with respect to the time. So your streaming application and streaming processing technique must able to handle that. Now we are already aware about the big data, and big data is generated by many different sources of at a high speed. So data streaming can also be explained as a technology used to deliver content to devices over the internet. So why is it so much popular data streaming? Because earlier data streaming was restricted to certain kind of application. For example, the sensor network or research-based applications or a very enterprise application, business-to-business application. But as the evolvement of internet and accessibility of the internet to everyone, you can find out that more or companies are interested to provide services to the user. More companies are trying to provide product to the user. So these services or product of the users are offered to the consumers 24 into 7 without any interruption. So earlier it was not possible because internet was not available to everyone. And there are certain kind of business model, and these business model is providing only a intermediary. So there are the users who are generating the contents, and there are users who are consuming the content. There are the parties who are analyzing those content for their own purpose. For example, we can take a Facebook. So, the Facebook is an application where you can find out that Facebook does not employ anyone to write content on their platform. So, content will be retained or uploaded by the users. And again, Facebook does not have any employee or authority to consume those content. These content is already consumed by the another users. So again, users are becoming here the source or the content provider, and user is also be having like a content consumer. And there are parties. For example, Facebook will provide you adding services. So you can take the ad services of Facebook and how they will analyze those ad services based on the user's data. So they are analyzing the whole user data, which is generated from the certain kind of users. And based on that data, their consumption pattern, their priority of the data, their likeness, and so on, they will analyze a certain type of uh, interest is there inside the system, and they will take that certain behavior, certain interest of the user, and based on the user interest and behavior, they will try to uh, get you the ad based on your interest and the behavior. And this is also beneficial to the third party. So you can find out that internet has given a tremendous opportunity to work on the data stream. And if you talk about the top technological company in the world, so you can find out that most of them are working on the internet. For example, Facebook, for example, Google, for example, Microsoft. So they are one way or another way, they are working with the data stream technologies. They are offering some services. If you talk about the Microsoft, they are offering the cloud-based system, so you can use the cloud-based services. Again, they can offer you streaming services based on their cloud-based platform. So advantage of the data stream over the internet is that you can access the content immediately, so without any delay. Because earlier, what was happened when you want to view any videos or a large file of video, or you want to listen the audio or a music, or you want to access certain kind of text information, so what happened? You have to wait until the whole content will be downloaded to your system. So earlier there was only FTP based applications. So these FTP based applications will first let you download the whole content. Then you can view those content on your personal system. But now the scenario has been changed, and you can find out that those applications are the thing of the past. Now you can access the content immediately. So suppose I am creating a video and uploading as a lecture to the student on a YouTube platform. So you can find out that as I'm starting the uploading the video, you are able to access the content immediately. So you do not wait for me to complete the upload, or you do not wait for you to completely download the content. So as the content availability available on the you can easily able to get that. Common example is a YouTube streaming. So you can see that when I'm delivering a streaming lecture on a YouTube, you can directly consume that content without waiting for any delay. Big data is forcing many organizations to focus on the storage cost, which brings us to data lakes and data. Now, the one part of the big data stream is the storage, because whatever the data is being generated on these platforms, these data has some important aspect associated with them. So these data must be stored, because whatever the data we are generating right now is a very important asset for any organization. As you can see that in a previous decade, China has become a powerful country because they have a large consumer base and they are generating a large amount of data. And they are analyzing those data to find out the better possibilities for their citizens, better possibilities for their companies, better possibilities for their government and so on. And now our Indian continent is also becoming a large consumer base. So as you can see that accessibility of the internet is increasing, as you can see that the accessibility of the smartphone to the users are increasing. More users are connecting to the internet using these devices. So you can find out that they are generating large amount of information on a daily basis. Now, these all information have certain aspects, so we need to store these information. So we are now talking about storing the information in KB or MB. We are talking to storing the information in petabyte. So to store such large kind of large amount of information, your traditional storage system is not up to the requirement because they have higher cost associated with them and they are not very much uh, familiar with the fault tolerant mechanism. So, the storing does not mean that you will store the information. Storage should also provide you data at your request. There should not be any data loss. There should not be any data theft or anything. So, storage doesn't mean that you are only concerned about the storing the data. You are also concerned about the reliability of the storage, security of the storage, authenticity of the storage, and so on. Now the concept come of the data leaks and data history. So you can find out that there are certain companies all over the world, including our Indian continent. They are working to provide certain storage systems which is able to store a more large amount of information, and they are very cost efficient compared to your traditional storage system, and they are very much professional organization in dealing with the storing of the data. So you can find out that whatever the data you are storing on these systems, they are redundant to the certain kinds of attacks, certain types of failure, and so on. So let us define the data lake. A data lake refers to the storage of a large amount of unstructured and semi-data and is useful due to the increase of big data as it can be stored in such a way that firms can dive into the data lake and pull out what they need at the moment they need it. So you will find out certain point here. So basically we are talking about the large amount of data which are unstructured and semi-structured data. So, what is structured data? Can anyone explain? We have already discussed in the Viva. Uh, for a brief summary, anyone? Ayushi? Ayushi Gupta? Anyone who is able to access their mic is perfectly working. Just explain the what is structured and unstructured data.
तो स्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा टेबल के फॉर्म में डेटा स्टोर करता है
Very good.
जैसे अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड फाइल्स में डेटा फाइल मतलब उस टेबल में स्टोर नहीं होता फाइल्स में रहता है
Okay. So, guys, thank you, Ayushi. Uh, as we are, you can see that normally we are dealing with the databases. So database have a predefined structure to store the information. So when you want to store those information, those structure, you can find out that you have to follow some queries, you have to follow some table rules and so on. I think all of you have heard about the JSON file.
यस सर
Okay, so that is another, yeah. Any add-on? Anyone? Okay. So JSON file is another way of storing the data. You can take those data and work with the various type of applications. When we talk about the unstructured data, so if you can see the Twitter, let me open the Twitter. So when I'm opening a Twitter account, so you can find out that when we are talking about the unstructured data, you can find out that we are dealing with a certain different kind of information. For example, text, images, and so on. But Twitter is not a fully unstructured data because it is generating a JSON file, so it is a certain kind of structures is being followed. But when we are dealing with the data streaming applications, they can have any type of data, and they can be in any order. So it is very much un, infeasible for us to find out structure from them. But as a data engineer, as a data scientist, a researcher and academician are working to find out the structured data from the unstructured data. Because you can't deal with the unstructured data. How can you apply some algorithms or logic on unstructured data? First, you have to sort out in a certain, find out or sort out unstructured data into some kind of a structured data, and then you can work. But when suppose we are you are having a log file of an organization, internet log file of organization. So now these log file contain all the information. So whether it's an IP address, whether it is a accessible accessed URL, whether it's a user information, downloadable file, uploadable file, and everything. So data lake will provide you way to store all these information without worrying about their structure and unstructured. So now the another task to work with the data lake is that how can you find out the useful information when you are dealing with a large amount of unstructured data within a data. So that is a one concern of designing the data lake. So as a computer science engineer, we can take this topic as our project. You can also adopt as a career in the near future, where you can develop your own data lake model and you can find out the certain information. The parameter here is that how the fastest way you are accessing those information and how those information are reliable for your own application. So there are tremendous possible ways to access those information. There are tremendous possibilities that there are similar type of information available in the data lake. So which type of information or which information is useful for your particular application or domain that is your concern. So it all should be done at a moment. So you can find out that when we are dealing with the computers, we are dealing with the time. So we should have everything at our fastest. Okay. Now we can apply the real-time analysis on data stream or a streaming data. For example, if you're talking about the Twitter data, so you can take the Twitter data and you can apply the real-time streaming of the Twitter data. And these real-time streaming can get you the required information. Okay, so all of you have access the Twitter data. Anyone who have access the real-time Twitter data and work on it? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we can develop a real-time applications to find out how to access those information and we can work out with it. So let me try to access these information for you. Uh, this URL is this Chrome tab is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what we have done here, we have tried to search this tweet. So you can see that if I will go to this tweet and try to search that what is the current Twitter is being offered by this one. So we can all access these real-time information using this Python file. So I have accessed these information. You can find out that certain kind of information we access using the JSON file. Then you can convert those information as per your desired format. Okay. So so we can perform the real-time analysis on a streaming data. So we should not have to wait the complete data is being downloaded. We should not have to wait to be that certain amount of information is being downloaded on our system. We can process those information as they are available with us. So we are not aware about the future, what is happening in the future, but whatever the data streaming is generated from till time to the previous time, all should be available for in your storage system so that you can access all those information. So when you are with the dealing with the Twitter API, you can find out that you can access all the tweet which is available from the last decade to this time. So you can access the any text information from any duration. You should have to mention the duration. You are able to access those information. So, what is the usefulness and necessity of data streaming? You can find out that when a lot of users are accessing data streaming application, they are generating the contents. You can develop various applications using the data stream. For example, you can develop your ad company or ad marketing application where you can target the user based on their behavior. You can develop a driverless automatic car. You can develop a automatic manufacturing system. You can also develop online generating the content based on the user preferences and so. So there are unlimited possibilities. What can you do with the data stream? Let us discuss some areas where we can do it. So one of them is a finance. So I think all of you are aware about the stock market. So stock market is a kind of generating a data stream in a very large way. So you can find out that you can apply certain kind of logics on those data, and you can find out certain users behavior, and you can use those output for your certain task, whether you want to predict some prices, you want to predict some movement, whether you want to predict user sentiment and so on. Real estate, so you can apply the real-time data monitoring inside the real estate. Right now, it is not possible for our own country because a lot of data which is generating in the real estate is not available to online. So maybe in the near future, when the blockchain and other technology will come into the picture and they are accessible and available to everyone, you can see certain kind of system where the data stream is being generated for the real estate. Whether you can target the user based on their preferences and so on. So you can apply the block stream as well as data stream as well as blockchain technologies, and you can combine and develop a project for a real estate where you can generate the data. Now, what the blockchain will do, it will give you authenticity that particular information which is generated on your system is authenticated because it is signed by the user's key. And a data stream application will give you a more consumer who can consume the real estate data. Why? Because when you have a real estate data, you can target various applications. You can target the consumer. You can target the automobile company. You can target the consumer FMCG companies. You can target the manufacturing companies and so on. So next is a gaming. So I think all of you are aware about the gaming because on any day you have definitely you have exposure to the online gaming. So it's a quite interesting platform, and you can also develop your career into the gaming. And you will be glad to know that computer gaming is the seventh largest uh, business in the world in terms of the revenue. So it's not that gaming, if you're up the career as a gaming, you are not going to develop career. But you can find out that after the pandemic, maybe in a near future, you will see the parallel online gaming to the physical gaming. For example, maybe there will be tournament for the online cricket gaming, online racing game, online boxing, and so on. So it has also tremendous possibilities. You have to know about the concept of the data store. Then the e-commerce and marketing. So whatever the data is being generated, mostly data is consumed by the company to target the user for their marketing and so on. Okay. So streaming services are influenced by how people consume their media nowadays. So for example, if you talk about certain application, you can find out that they are on a peak at certain time, and certain applications are on a different time. So based on the user preferences, their consumptions, you have to be make sure that how this your streaming services will perform at that time. Basically, we can use a cloud-based system here because its scaling is the important factor when we are developing any type of application. Because you are not very much sure that when you are having a large number of users on your portal, and when your portal is uh, laid out as an ideal portal. So you can find out that using the cloud-based services, you can minimize your cost, you can maximize the user's experience and so on. So, as we have already discussed, Facebook and Twitter, like a social media platform, they are providing your live streaming services. So you can take those services, you can stream your videos, you can stream your skills, you can also uh, give your demonstration to your. So global news publishers can use this social media data streaming application to target the users based their requirement, based on their behavior also. So one question arises here: how and where news publishers are interacting with their audiences, and how they use social media services to deliver their services. So guys, at least write one or two points in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and can express your thought. And Adit, please mark this question as the assignment also. Okay, anyone?
Okay, sir. So just
Thank you.
please repeat the question.
I think, is it visible on the screen? How and where news publishers are interacting with their audiences,
Okay, sir.
and how social media services to deliver their services. Any thought from anyone? Piyush Singh, am I audible? Piyush, am I audible? Sakshi, Vineet, Vineet, am I audible? Palak, any student who can unmute herself? Yes, Piyush, you can use the chat box. I want at least one or two response from 4 to 5 students at least. Mr. Khan, am I audible? So it's a question. You can think on that if you are running a news publishing website, then how can you interact with your audience? So you can find out that every publishing website has a different kind of audience. So they have a different interacting way of interaction to the audience. So some of them can use their dedicated streaming services. Some of them can use the social media to broadcast their services. Some of them can use another platform apart from the social media. So, for example, YouTube and so on. So you can find out that there are different kinds of way. Now the question arises how they are interacting with their audience. So there should be a one-way communication, two-way communication. They will conduct some survey, they will conduct some question answers, or they will conduct some polling and so on. So one of the example you can see in your online learning model, then you are seeing that we can organize the quiz, we can organize the poll, we can organize the question answer assignment and so on. So guys, please write the response in the chat box. I'm waiting for 4 to 5 response, and I think that's all for today. And we'll start the data stream and their application in the next lecture tomorrow. If you have any question at all, you can unmute yourself and you can also use the chat box. Okay, thank you. I'm stopping the recording.